Greetings, I'm Ben, and this is the second video in a couple of videos I'm making about how to deal with missing data. In the previous video, I just showed how to create this count NA variable and how to create a subset of data to eliminate people who were missing too much data. Now, as a brief review, we have a couple of missing data problems. One of the problems is that 27 people didn't supply their age. And I'm not very concerned about their age in this data set, but I do want to be able to use the age variable potentially in some analysis, maybe as a control variable. And I don't want to have to exclude all 27 of those people just because they didn't tell me their age. And this is a student sample, and so almost everybody is between the ages of 18 and 21 in the data set. And so it would be really unfortunate to have to delete all 27 of these people who didn't give us their age just because I wanted to use age as a statistical control variable in a regression analysis or something like that. Another problem that we have is that we have variables indicating which experimental condition people were in, and if they weren't in that condition, they have an NA. And so I'm going to show you how to replace those NAs with zeros just so that instead of saying, we don't know what condition they were in, it's saying they weren't in this condition. So let's start with age. So if we run the tabyl command, which is part of the janitor package, for age, which is in the deb1 data frame, so that's tabyl left paren deb1 $age, we'll see it'll show us how many people have a score for each age, and we'll see that 27 people didn't give us an age. You'll also notice that 20, which is the median age, there are 62 people in our data frame who are 20 years old. So what I want to do is take that median of 20 and assign it to the 27 people that didn't give us an age. So the people who didn't answer their age, we're just going to pretend they're 20. So to do that, I'm going to use packages from the tidyverse. And so we're actually using dplyr and tidyr. And so if you haven't loaded dplyr or tidyr or haven't loaded the tidyverse, you'll need to do that before this syntax will work. And I can show you, so that would just be library, quote, left paren, quote marks, tidyverse, close quotes, close paren. And that would load the tidyverse for you. Okay, so we're going to keep the same, we're going to write over our data frame here. So we're going to say deb1 equals deb1. You could do deb2 equals deb1 if you wanted to create a new data frame. But we're just going to do deb1 equals deb1. And then we're going to put a pipe, which is common to the tidyverse. And remember, a pipe is the % sign, the greater than sign, or is that the less than sign? That's probably the greater than sign. Right. And then another parentheses. So that's the pipe. We'll put that in there. And then we're going to use mutate underscore at as our command. So mutate at left paren, and we're going to mutate the variable age. And so we're going to do the one upside down quote mark. So the quote mark, but it's just one. I guess it's not upside down. It's an upside down comma, but it's one quote mark. And then we're going to type the name of our variable here, that's age, and then close that quote mark, so one more quote mark, and then a comma, and then a tilde. I put a space in between the comma and the tilde. I don't think it matters. R doesn't seem to care about spaces. But then a tilde, which is the little squiggly on my Mac keyboard. It's right above the tab. And then the command is replace underscore NA. So replace underscore NA, another left paren, and then a period. And the period will just say we're replacing whatever variables were listed previously. So it's going to replace NA, the age variable, and the period's just telling it, that's what you're doing. And then another comma, And we're going to use median as the command because we want to replace it with the median. So you could also do this if it was mean or something else. And then left paren again the period, again the comma, NA period RM equals true. And I've capitalized true here, TRUE, all 4 letters capitalized. And then we close the parentheses 3 times because we opened it 3 times. And if you run that command, it will replace all of the NAs in the age variable with the median score, which was a 20. So now if we run that, if we run that TABYL table function for deb1 $age, you'll see that there are no more NAs, and we have 89 people with a score of 20 in the age variable. So that is how you replace a missing value with the median. You can also do mean replacement the same way. But the next thing I want to show you how to do is replace NAs with zeros. Because remember, if we look at the TABYL, the table command for left paren, deb1 $control right paren. So if we look at that, we have 254 people that have NAs. And that would be, if we look at the other, one of the other conditions is called mixed. We have 262 people that were not in the mixed condition and they have an NA. And then we have dem, con. Also, notice also that that's 16 instead of 1 for the people who were in the mixed condition. So 77 people were in the mixed condition. Eventually that needs to be recoded. We can also look at how many people were in the dem-con. So 92 people were in the dem-con and they have a 4, but 247 were not in the dem-con and they have a missing. And then we can also look at the rep-con. So there were 70 people in the rep-con, and for whatever reason their value is 4. And then there are 269 people who weren't, and they have an NA. And so what we need to do is take all 4 of these experimental conditions and replace the NAs with zeros, and that'll just indicate, the 0 just indicates you weren't in that condition. So here I am going to create a new data set. So I'm going to call this deb2, and that'll be my new data frame, equals deb1, so, and then the pipe. So deb2 equals deb1, and then the pipe, which is the percent sign, the greater than sign, and the percent sign. And again, we're using mutate underscore at. So after the pipe, I put mutate underscore at, and then I have a left paren, and I'm going to list after the left paren all of the variables that I want to run this command on. So it's C, and again left paren, because I got to put my list in parentheses, and then I'm using that inverted comma or the single quote mark, and then inside that I put control, and then again another inverted comma or single quote mark, and then a comma, and then again single quotes to encapsulate the word mixed, and then another comma, single quotes for dem-con, and then a comma, single quotes for rep-con, and then I close out the parentheses. Then I put another comma, another tilde, and again I'm using replace underscore NA as my command. Just so you know, replace underscore NA is part of the tidyr package in the tidyverse, and so if you're getting could not find function replace underscore NA, it means you need to load and potentially install the tidyr package or the tidyverse. So replace underscore NA, left paren, and then that period again is saying we're running replace NA on all of the variables or all of the columns listed in the list that we just provided. So period, comma, 0. And then we close out the parentheses twice. So it's mutate at parentheses, C, parentheses, single quotes control, comma, single quotes mixed, comma, single quotes demcon, comma, single quotes repcon, close paren, comma, tilde, replace underscore NA, left paren, period, comma, 0, right paren, right paren. And those last two right parens, so the first one was closing out the replace NA, and the last one, or the second one, was closing out the mutate at. So if we run that, it'll replace all of the experimental condition NAs with zeros. So if we run a table left paren debate 2 $ control right paren, it'll show us that 254 people have a score of 0 and 85 people have a score of 16. Which again, I don't know why it's 16. Eventually I'll recode it so it's 1. If we do it with mixed, we see the same thing. 262 people have a 0 and 77 people have a 16. If we do it with dem, con, we see that 247 people have a 0 and 92 people have a 4. I don't know why it's 4 in that instance, but that just means 92 people were in the demcon. And then repcon, we see 269 people have a 0 and 70 people have a 4, meaning 70 people were in the Republican condition. Okay. I guess we can also, so then if we do a summary of DEB2, we can see that looking at the age variable, there are no missing values in the age variable. And if we look at the repcon, mixed, control, demcon, if we look at those, there are also no missing values in those 4 variables. We do still have some NAs sprinkled throughout. So if we look at DT image underscore 4 pre, which is Donald Trump's, the 4th item in Donald Trump's image scale, there's 1 missing there. There's 1 missing in the Donald Trump image 2 pre. We have this RR variable, which is racial resentment. We have 1 person who didn't answer RR6. We have 1 person who didn't answer RR4. So we do still have some missing values. And those we're actually going to guess what people would have replied had they replied to those questions using the mice package. But I'm going to do that in a 3rd video. This one was just showing you how to use mutate at to do a median replacement, and how to use mutate at to replace NAs with zeros. So hopefully you found that helpful. This was the 2nd video in my dealing with missing data videos. I'll do one more where I'll show you how to use mice to guess what people would have replied. Thanks for watching.